Okay, so I hope everyone understood the previous lectures, and if you didn't understand it completely, I hope that you found uh, the resources you needed on the internet or Google, and I hope it helped you. I'll actually, like I said before, this course isn't to teach you how to program in Java, but the course is designed to teach you how to build Android 2D games. And but because I'm a nice instructor or teacher, I've decided to go ahead and throw in a section that pertains particularly to object-oriented programming and Java. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into today's topic. So in the last lecture, we talked about methods and parameters. So what we're going to talk about today is value returning methods. In our last tutorial, in our last section, or last lecture, we discussed void functions. And if you go back and check out the last lecture, you'll see that we had a void function. And basically what void means that is nothing, was going to return nothing. So when you have a function and it's just going to do something and not return anything to its calling class, then it's just void. For example, this main method here is a void method because it's not returning anything. If we were to change this to int, now it's a value returning function method, because now you are saying, hey, I want you to do main, I want you to return an integer. So what we will need to do is we'll need to return like 0 or whatever the integer is, and now we see it works because now we're returning that 0. So if we were to call the public int main, it will return the value of 0 because it's returning a integer. And I'm going to give you guys a better example of this. Let's go back to set this back. So let's go ahead and create a method. Let's call it it's private, and it's going to be int. I'm going to call it add numbers, and we're going to give it some parameters. Num1, num2, num3. All right, there we go. So now what we have to do is we have a little area here because we haven't put return yet. So we wanted this method to add all the numbers that has been given. So to do that, we just simply do int sum equals num1 plus num2 plus num3. Bam. And so now we can simply return this integer sum, which is equal to the sum of all the numbers that we were given. So we'll simply do return sum, and now we're going to return that value. So let's go ahead and test out our new value returning function or method here in our void main function method. So let's go ahead and do add numbers. Well, let's go ahead and do int value equals add numbers 1, 2, and 3. We just keep it simple. So as you see here, what we've done, we've actually let's change to static. Static. Bam. So what we've done here is we actually set the value of that's going to be returned from this method, from my add numbers method, to a integer called value. So whatever is returned from this method is going to equal value, or value is going to be set to that returning integer. So as you see here, it's returning sum, which sum is equal to num1 plus num2 plus num3, and then when it returns sum, we're going to set sum to value, to int value, so now we can manipulate this object or data type and we can do something with it. So let's go ahead and do a print line and print out the answer. Print.out.println, and let's go ahead and just do sum equals and value, add value to that. Alright, so let's go ahead and oh, I forgot the plus. There you go. So let's go ahead and run this and see what we get. So there you go. Sum equals 6. So basically what happened was we passed in those numbers, we passed in the arguments that it needed, which are integers. We passed those in. Then we created another integer called sum, and we set that equal to all the numbers passed in added together, and then we were simply returned that sum value. So then in our main method, we created an integer called value, and we set it equal to whatever is returned from the add numbers method, and we set it to value. And simply here, we just simply printed out what value was returned, so we can verify that the answer is correct. So that's the basics of value returning methods. And value returning methods can have any type of data type. We could have string. We could do a string there, but we would need to change our return to a string. We could do float. We could do just plain object. I mean, you name it. We could do double. I mean, whatever you can think of. We could do char. I mean, it's just Boolean. We could do Boolean. Any type of object or data type that is available in Java or that you create from a class, you can use it as a returning value for a method. So I hope that broke down what a value returning method is. This is going to be very important once we dive into our game development. So it's important and essential that you grasp this concept if you haven't already. So I hope this helped you guys out, and I hope that it made a lot of sense. And if it didn't, feel free to ask some questions. I'll be glad and more than happy to answer them for you and get you on the road.